Present paper is 5 and its module 6, Gender as Defined and Understood in Psychology. Myself Deepa Punetha, Department of Psychology, University of Allahabad. I am Professor of Psychology. Today I would be presenting a paper which has a gender and its understanding in psychology, and there are certain aspects which are being dealt in this paper, that what is gender in psychology, the psychoanalytic theory of Sigmund Freud, feminine theory of Corinne Harney, psychosocial theory of Erik Erikson, gender schema theory of Sandra Bem, and there are some references. In the starting, what is gender in psychology? Sex can be defined as a physical characteristics of being male or female. Gender is defined as the psychological aspect of being masculine or feminine. The expectation of one's culture, the development of one's personality and one's sense of identity, all are affected by the concept of gender. The present chapter addresses the theoretical framework of gender in psychology. Over the years, several attempts has been proposed to explain gender development. First is psychoanalytic theory, and this is a classical theory in psychology also. And this psychoanalytic theory proposed by Freud defines that some aspects of gender identity result from the unconscious psychological processes rather than more conscious processes such as modeling or actively seeking information consistent with such areas. This is a study by Wharton, 2005. In psychoanalytic approach, which was proposed by Sigmund Freud, but its application to gender socialization was more fully outlined in late 1970s by Nancy Conroe. For Conroe, the key factor in the development of gender identity is the role of mother as a primary caregiver. This was the research based on Stockard's 1999. Because children spend more time with mothers, and Conroe argues that their first identification with the mother is feminine. The theory of instinct. Freud recognized that there are two fundamental motivating forces, and the first one is the constructive one, which is called eros or life instinct, and the other one is destructive in nature, which is called thanatos or death instinct. The conscious mind, there are levels of conscious mind. Freud considers that there are three levels of conscious mind, and the first conscious mind includes everything that whatever we are aware of. This is the aspect of our mental processing that we can think, talk about rationally. The preconscious mind is the another level, which is our memory, which is not always our part of conscious mind, but can be retrieved easily at any time and brought into our awareness. The unconscious mind is the reservoir of feelings, thought and urges and images outside of the conscious awareness. Freud considers that there are three components of personality, and they make a structure of personality, and those structural aspect of personality is very important in understanding the one's personality makeup also. First component of personality is made of id. Id is innate in nature. It is child is born with the id impulses. They are biologically very important drives, and whenever the child is hungry or whenever child is uncomfortable, he can also react in a very natural manner. There are certain concepts which are related to id impulses, which is called libidinal impulses. Libidinal impulses are all the time for the sake of pleasure. Therefore, Freud considers that id is governed by the pleasure principle, and it has nothing to do with the conscious mind or conscious word. Whatever is happening is in the word, it is not aware of that. Id has these impulses which are animal and instinctual in nature. If there is any need, its immediate gratification is very important for it to be satisfied. And when a child starts to grow up and tries to see his mother is the only person over there who is taking care of her, or the other caring agents are also there. If they are there, they are also taking care of them. Whenever child is hungry, mother provides food, and what happens that by eating that food, child is not only satisfied for the need for hunger, but also tries to relate it with its mother, who becomes a secondary source of reinforcement, at the same time secondary source of pleasure also. And he gradually, from time to time, whenever child is hungry, whenever child's bed is wet, whenever child is uncomfortable, he gets tension. And because the tension is being reduced by mother, therefore he becomes more attached to mother, because all the time by reducing that tension, mother is trying to satisfy his needs and satisfy his pleasure also. Therefore, there is a kind of secondary sense of attachment with the mother, and mother becomes also the agent who is satisfying his needs. Therefore, sometimes because of mother's satisfaction, mother's expectation, what she likes, what she doesn't like, sometimes if child is not behaving properly, mother may be showing some gestures which are unapproval of the child's behavior, or mother may say something which may be not which may be like a verbal punishment. Then child comes to know that there is something else than me. I am me, and mother is something else which is in reality, which is outside, and I have to act according to the wishes of mother. Then there is a during 1.5 years of age, there is a emergence of ego. Since ego is originated from the reality, that is why it is all the time related to reality awareness and acts according to reality principle. Its domain is related to ego, which is very small space, but whatever child does is guided by ego, is all the time related to reality. It tries to deny the id principle also at that time. The job of ego is to mediate between id impulses and superego. When a child becomes 1.5, gradually becomes 4 and 5 years of age, then he gets, according to Freud's theory of psychosexual development, tries to get attachment with the mother, and mother's attachment is related to sex, and and the girl child is also attracted to father sexually. Then what happens that when they start growing up, there is a emergence of conscience, and when they are conscious, then they realize that this is not very fair, this is not socially very much approved action. That is why they start to identify with their parents of same sex. And here is the story of Oedipus complex also, which indicates that during the past there was a Greek mythological figure, character, who was who used to have sexually attracted to her mother and tries to possess her. Therefore, he killed his father and tried to take possession of mother. When he came to know about this job, this kind of act, then he went to the jungle and broken his eyes. This is called Oedipus complex and resolution of the Oedipus complex. Depending on this kind of Greek mythological story, there is also in Freud's theory in super emergence of superego and conscience. Superego is called to be a moral principle or is guided by moral principle, whereas Feshbach is a psychologist who tried to point out that superego is guided by nirvana principle. It is not like Buddhist nirvana and moksha kind of thing, but he says that cessation of stimulation is the nirvana. You stop reacting to any kind of stimulus of the world, your body stops it, then it is nirvana. Because there is a Thanatos also, which aims at destroying everything. If you destroy everything yourself also and do not react at all, then you find a stage of nirvana. And based on that principle, here is also that superego is guided by conscience and ego ideal. There are some of the ideals which superego wants to attain, but not at the cost of not at the cost of ego's approval. If ego denies it, then one cannot do that kind of behavior. Then it means that according to Freud, the ego is the mediator of personality. For the balance adjustment in the world, ego has to control or has to make a balance between id and superego. The next theory in Freud, he is talking about psychosexual development. Thus, in the psychosexual development, the basic thesis of Freud is that the sexuality is in the bodily parts during the childhood up to 5 years of age, and it starts from birth to 1.5 years age. It is called oral stage because all sexuality is related to oral aspect of the body. The child is doing different kind of oral activities like sucking, feeding, making noises with the mouth, all are related to pleasure, which give him pleasure, as it is called sexual pleasure, though it is child's it is pregenital stage. It comes again under the pregenital stage, that is why it is that kind of pleasure. The focus on this stage is really in weaning. When parents tries to teach children to feed in different manner, eat different objects or food substances, at the same time they also start insisting child to do toilet training, then the weaning starts. But in the beginning the child sucks mother's milk. Later on, if he comes to suck the natural food objects, then this is called weaning, which is creating conflict sometimes in the child. Second stage is anal stage, which is from 1.5 years to 3 years, and here the child knows that Parents will insist him for the sake of training, go to toilet in the real time, in the fixed time, in a fixed place, and do not make any nuisance over there. They sometimes try to insist the child and request child, please go to toilet, or please eliminate your waste product so that you will feel better. This is the aim of the parents, that they try to regulate their bodily function, they train for that, and once they have a command on it, once they learn these kind of things, they start also being act in a stubborn manner. They would retain the waste products and try to be requested by parents that please do it in a regular time, in regular place, and in regular manner. And this gives an emergence to ego also in a different way to the child. The third stage is phallic stage. In this time, the sexuality is located in genitals. They become aware of their genital sexual organs, and at the same time there is also emergence of conscience through the identification with the same sex parents. Next stage is latency period, which is from 6 years to puberty, and it becomes very different from the earlier 3 stages. Freud says that in this time, child is engrossed in playing something with the friends, and he also likes to go to school. He likes to do some intellectual activities and activities with the friends. It seems that sexuality has been vanished at this time. It happens that that is why it is called latency period. Once Freud's critique has analyzed that the child is Sunday school going mind. He likes to go to school on Sundays also. He is engrossed in such kind of activities so much. The last stage is genital stage, which is from puberty to death, when there is awareness of the sex and the heterosexual relationship with parents, with partners. Then what happens that if a development of child, sexuality, psychosexual development of child takes place in a normal manner. If he comes to the identification with the same sex parents, then this kind of development also is very much in a controlled manner. A child develops a controlled and balanced personality structure. The next theory is of feminine psychology, which is proposed by Karen Harney. This is called a feminine psychology also. And what happens that Karen Harney was the follower of Freud's ideology on psychoanalytic theory, but she was the first one who talked about panis envy. She has pointed out that Freud had said everything about the male psychology and male personality. Nothing has been taught about nor talked about female personality. Nancy Conroe locates that the political and theoretical origin of psychoanalytic feminism comes with Karen Harney in this way, whose theory formed the basis for the most recent revisions of psychoanalytic understanding of gender and for most psychoanalytic dissidents on the question of gender in the early period as well. Harney's ideas were ignored for many years, but now they seem to be remarkably accepted. Karen Harney talks about the real self. The real self is emerged when there is no anxiety, nothing is bothering to the child. and it comes from the interpersonal strategies of defense. In Neurosis and Human Growth, she has divided the expensive solution into three distinct kinds: narcissistic, perfectionistic, and arrogant vindictive type. And she talks about intrapsychic strategies of defense. She also talked about idealized self and in the search of glory. Next theory is of Erikson, who developed psychosocial theory of development. Erikson considers that psychodynamic theory, who emphasized that the importance of social relationship is very important in personality development. According to this theory, if we do not resolve the crisis during any stage, then we will continue to create events throughout the life, which will create that crisis until we have done psychosocial work necessary to resolve that crisis. He talks about 8 stages of life, and this is lifespan development. He does not stop only in the childhood or adolescent, but till the death. What happens to the development of personality, he talks about that. In the infancy period, there is a crisis of trust and or mistrust. What happens that in social relationship, if parents do not treat the child properly, then child develops a sense of mistrust, and that becomes a kind of crisis. If a child is very affectionately treated by parents, then he develops the sense of trust, and there is a hope. Next stage is toddler stage, which is from 18 months to 3 years, and in this stage autonomy, shame or autonomy versus shame and doubts are there. In preschool stage 3 to 6 years, and there is a more crisis related to initiativeness or guilt or versus guilt. The next stage is childhood, which extends from 6 years to 12 years, and there is a virtue competence, and the crisis is related to industry versus inferiority. The next stage is adolescence, which is 12 years to 18 years, and here is all the time that the identity and role confusion is the crisis. Young adults stage is from 12 to 40 years, where there is intimacy versus isolation is the main crisis. Middle adulthood ranges from 40 years to 65 years, where there is generativity versus stagnation, and senior is a stage from 65 plus, where there is a wisdom as a virtue. Ego integrity versus despair is the developmental crisis. Now, next theory is given by Sandra Bem, and this is called gender schema theory. This is also a cognitive aspect of the theory, which considers that in cultures where distinctions between men and women are emphasized, children learn to use gender as the way to process information about the world. The cognitive structures or gender schemas help children organize information and maintain sense of consistency and predictability. For Bem, there are two characteristics of gender schema are particularly noteworthy. In cultures where children believe that what is acceptable and what is appropriate for females is not acceptable or appropriate for males. Wharton's research on 2005 indicates this statement. And secondly, the gender schemas tend to be androcentric, that is, children internalize the message that male and masculinity are standard or norm and are more highly valued than femininity or females. In this way, all these theories consider that how gender is is accepted and described in different theoretical perspectives in psychology.